Did you know that your cat's eye color could reveal secrets about their health, genetics, and even their personality? From deep green to icy blue, every shade tells a story, and some of these stories might surprise you. So, what's your cat's eye color? Let's find out what it really means. Why eye color matters. Hey everyone, welcome back to The Cat Secrets, the place where curious cat lovers learn fascinating facts about feline behavior, care, and instincts. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a meow-worthy fact about your furry friend. Eye color in cats isn't just about beauty. It's like a tiny biological passport. It tells us about their breed, their genes, and in some cases, even their health status. Unlike humans, cats are born with blue eyes. Their true adult eye color develops over the first 6 to 12 weeks of life, depending on the amount of melanin in their iris. Melanin doesn't just give fur its shade. It also determines how light or dark the eyes appear. Here's the cool part. Researchers have found that certain eye colors in cats can be linked to specific personality traits and health conditions. And today, we're breaking them all down. 1. Green eyes. Let's start with one of the most captivating shades in the feline world, green eyes. Green-eyed cats are often considered mysterious and enchanting, almost like little guardians of ancient secrets. From a biological standpoint, green eyes occur when a cat's iris contains a moderate amount of melanin. More than a blue-eyed cat, but less than one with golden or amber eyes. This balance creates that stunning emerald, jade, or sea green glow that can look different depending on the lighting. While many people think eye color is purely cosmetic, there's more to it than that. Certain breeds are more likely to have green eyes, and those breeds often share personality traits. For example, Russian blues, Egyptian mouse, and some domestic shorthairs are well known for their piercing green gaze. Interestingly, these breeds tend to be naturally alert, observant, and somewhat cautious. A 2015 study published in Applied Animal Behavior Science found that owners frequently described green-eyed cats as more independent thinkers, the kind of cat that prefers to watch before they act. They're often the ones perched on a high shelf, silently observing everything before deciding whether it's worth their time to get involved. Of course, personality is shaped by more than just eye color. Environment, upbringing, and breed genetics all play big roles. But the correlation is fascinating nonetheless. Green eyes also have a strong cultural presence. In folklore from various parts of the world, green-eyed cats are often associated with mystery, magic, and heightened intelligence. In some superstitions, a green-eyed cat crossing your path was thought to bring insight or inspiration rather than bad luck. Health considerations. In terms of health, green eyes themselves don't typically indicate any specific medical conditions. However, any sudden change in your cat's eye color, for instance, if those bright greens start turning cloudy, brownish, or yellowish, can be a warning sign. Such changes might be linked to inflammation in the eye, like uveitis, liver problems, or even infections. A healthy cat's eye color should remain fairly stable once they've reached adulthood, so noticeable shifts are worth a quick trip to the vet. So if you live with a green-eyed beauty, take a moment to really look into those eyes. Are they your household's quiet detective? Do they have that "I know something you don't" expression? I'd love to hear your stories in the comments. Tell me if your green-eyed cat matches this description or surprises you completely. 2. Blue eyes. Now let's talk about the showstoppers, blue eyes. Blue-eyed cats have an almost otherworldly beauty, as if they've stepped straight out of a fairy tale. Scientifically, though, there's an interesting reason behind that color. Unlike green or amber eyes, blue eyes don't actually contain blue pigment at all. What you're seeing is the result of light scattering, similar to how the sky looks blue. Cats with blue eyes have very little, or sometimes no, melanin in the iris, which means light enters the eye and reflects back in a way that appears blue to us. Blue eyes are more common in certain breeds like Siamese, Ragdoll, Himalayan, and Burmese cats. But here's where personality comes into play. Many of these breeds are famously vocal and social. Siamese cats, for example, are often described as dog-like in their attachment to humans. They follow you around, they chirp and meow to get your attention, and they often expect to be part of whatever you're doing. Scientific link between eye color and hearing. There's a fascinating genetic connection here too. A well-documented study published in the Journal of Heredity found that white cats with 2 blue eyes have a significantly higher chance, between 65% and 85%, of congenital deafness in one or both ears. This happens because the same gene responsible for white fur and blue eyes can also affect the development of the inner ear. If you have a white blue-eyed cat, Don't be surprised if they rely more on visual cues than sound. It's not that they're ignoring you. They might genuinely not hear you. Real-life example. I once met a stunning white ragdoll named Sarah at a cat rescue. She had the most mesmerizing sapphire blue eyes, but she didn't respond when I called her name. It turned out she was completely deaf in both ears. Yet you'd never guess from her confidence and playful nature. Her foster family used hand signals to talk to her, and she quickly learned to come running when she saw the signal for treats. It was a perfect example of how a potential limitation didn't affect her personality one bit. So here's my question for you. Do you live with a blue-eyed beauty? Are they as chatty, playful, or people-focused as the stereotype suggests? Or maybe they're completely different? Drop your answers in the comments. And if you have a white blue-eyed cat, I'd love to know how they communicate with you. 3. Amber eyes. Now we move on to another striking eye color, yellow or amber eyes. These can range from a pale lemon yellow to a deep golden amber that almost glows in the sunlight. From a scientific perspective, the color comes from a high concentration of melanin in the iris. The more melanin your cat has, the richer and deeper the eye color appears. While green eyes have a moderate level of melanin and blue eyes have almost none, amber-eyed cats are on the opposite end of the spectrum. This doesn't just affect appearance. Some scientists believe melanin might be linked to subtle behavioral differences, although the research here is still emerging. Yellow or amber eyes are common in breeds like the Bombay, Burmese, and certain lines of British Shorthair. In fact, Bombay cats are famously bred for that mini Black Panther look, jet black fur with intense golden eyes. Behavioral associations. Many owners describe their yellow-eyed cats as confident, bold, and sometimes even a little demanding. They often have a strong presence in the household, not necessarily loud like a Siamese, but very clear in communicating what they want. There's an old saying among cat enthusiasts: an amber-eyed cat doesn't live in your home, you live in theirs. Real-life example. I once interviewed a couple who owned a Burmese cat named Jasper. His eyes were such a deep molten gold that they almost looked like they were lit from within. Jasper had a very in-charge personality. If someone sat in his favorite chair, he would stand nearby and give them the look until they moved. But he was also incredibly affectionate on his own terms. His owners joked that Jasper wasn't really a pet. He was the landlord, and they were just paying rent and treats. Yellow or amber eyes are generally normal in healthy adult cats. But there's one important thing to remember. If your cat's eyes suddenly appear more yellowish than before, especially with a greenish tint, it could be a sign of jaundice or liver issues. This change is usually in the whites of the eyes rather than the iris, so it's worth checking carefully. Any noticeable change in shade or clarity should be discussed with a vet. So, tell me, do you have a golden-eyed ruler of the household? Are they as confident and commanding as Jasper, or do they surprise you with a totally different personality? Share your stories in the comments. I'd love to hear about your little rays of sunshine. 4. Golden eyes. Golden eyes are one of the most radiant and captivating eye colors a cat can have. They range from soft honey tones to a rich metallic gold that almost seems to shine from within. Scientifically, this glow comes from a high concentration of melanin in the iris, more than in green-eyed cats, but often slightly less than in deep amber-eyed cats. Golden eyes are common in breeds like the Bombay, British Shorthair, and Burmese. These eyes tend to stand out most in cats with dark or solid-colored coats, creating a striking contrast that's hard to forget. Personality. While there's no hard scientific proof linking golden eyes to temperament, many owners describe their golden-eyed cats as confident, observant, and sometimes a little commanding. They're often the kind of cat who seems to know exactly what they want, whether that's your lap, your attention, or your dinner. Golden eyes are usually a sign of healthy pigmentation, but if you ever notice the color becoming dull, cloudy, or unusually yellowish in the whites of the eyes, it's worth checking with a vet to rule out health issues. Do you have a golden-eyed cat? Are they as confident and regal as the stories say? Tell me about them in the comments. I'd love to hear your experiences. 5. Odd-eyed cats. Odd-eyed cats, those with two different eye colors, are among the most striking felines you'll ever meet. One eye might be a deep copper or amber, while the other is icy blue or vivid green. This unique trait is called heterochromia, and it occurs when the iris in one eye has less melanin than the other. It's most common in white cats, especially breeds like the Turkish Van, Turkish Angora, and Japanese Bobtail. In some cases, the difference is genetic and perfectly healthy. In others, sudden heterochromia in adulthood can signal an eye injury or health problem, so it's always worth checking with a vet if you notice changes. Personality-wise, Odd-eyed cats don't have a documented behavioral link to their eye color, but their unique look often makes them unforgettable. Owners often say these cats seem to have a mystical aura, almost as if they're watching the world from two different perspectives. Do you have one of these two-tone beauties? Share your pictures and stories in the comments. And if you want to know more about other rare cat traits, check out my next video on unusual cat genetics that will blow your mind. So, what does your cat's eye color reveal? Is your green-eyed cat a little detective? Is your blue-eyed kitty the loudest in the house? Share your cat's eye color and their quirkiest personality trait in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into feline eye colors, you're going to love my video on what your cat's coat color says about their personality and health. It's packed with more surprising facts you can't miss. I'll see you there.